Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul James. Today I'm joined by our real host today, Matto Phillips. How's things, mate?
Real host? No, that's unheard of.
You're taking over the mantle this week. You brought a cool topic for discussion, and I'll throw it over to you so you can kind of talk all about it and what you had in mind.
All right. Well, for starters, if I look at my finger, no one's going to watch it if you do an audio thing. I did burn my finger tonight, and it hurts.
How'd you manage that?
I touched something hot.
Yeah, okay.
And you wouldn't be surprised.
But it burnt.
When it's hot, it does burn. Who would have thought? But no. So this one, we could have talked about what's that fluff
I'm sure everyone can
around
see
there?
it right in front of him. It's a little fucking spider.
Oh, is that what it is? I figure you, dude.
Peter's just lost his shit at
let's
me.
be honest. But let's be honest here. We could have talked about Xbox again this week.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we could have.
Could have.
Phil Spencer with his interview with Kind of Funny. Oh,
jeez.
or we could have talked about PlayStation shutting down a studio amid all the acquisitions.
I was not happy about that one too. When I saw which studio it was, I thought I really like that game too.
Yeah,
Concrete
I mean, look,
Community.
we can briefly touch on it. They shut down. Oh, Jesus, why have I just gone blank on their name?
Opus or something.
Pixel Opus,
That was
Pixel Opus,
Yeah.
the team responsible for things like Concrete Genie and Entwined. They were a really, really small team, and so I'm actually, and the reporting was that they were working with Sony Pictures or Sony Film on something. So, and it's been since 2019 when they last put out a game. So I guess it's a little bit of a surprise because I thought, and I think I'd made the prediction in ahead of a few states of play and all those sorts of things that they might actually have already announced their game by now. But it turns out it must have been struggling a little bit, and
Announced the shutdown instead.
yeah, I guess before we pivot on, I sending my best to everyone working on that was working there. Hopefully, I mean June 2nd is your last day. Hopefully, you're going to get dissolved into one of the other PlayStation studios, and you're not just out of a job. But
Yeah, Naughty Dog. Everyone's getting dissolved into Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is just growing, and it's just going to become not PlayStation Studios. It's just going to be Naughty Dog Studios.
it could be that. I'm going to do a quick double check and see where they were actually based out of. I feel like it was San Mateo, which I think is just up the road from like Sony Santa Monica and stuff. So yeah, they're in a good spot. There's plenty of jobs and those sort of things. And hopefully, if they're being shut down, hopefully they are being dissolved into someone else within PlayStation, and that there's no one that's actually without a job now. But anyway, on to today's topic, which is far less depressing. Well, maybe more depressing in some ways.
Probably not. From a studio shutdown. But because Redfall came out last week, and it
Tank.
let's just say it didn't do very well. And everyone's going on, oh, it's all Xbox's fault. This, that, blah, blah, blah. Starfield is screwed. No, Starfield's not screwed. They've got all the good people on Starfield. It could be a good game. Great game. Questionable because it is Bethesda. Bethesda's never made as Paul once said, they've made good games, but never a great game. Oh, hang on. That's another one I could put on that
I didn't
list.
say that.
Yeah, you did? I remember
love
that.
Skyrim.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Skyrim.
The Elder Scrolls games are amazing. It's Fallout that's shit.
Oh, there we go. See, that's when it just comes down to good.
Yeah.
Skyrim, great. Fallout, down here.
Elder Scrolls, great. Skyrim, god tier. Fallout, wouldn't wipe my own ass with that.
Even when you pay $130 for it.
Well, yeah, I can say that shit. No one would care though. Anyway, moving on.
But the Redfall thing,
not
yes.
good.
People can say, oh, it's all Xbox's fault, this, that, blah, blah, blah. You can blame Xbox for it. But there's also another problem towards it that I find is this whole 4-player or co-op. Let's just say co-op, not 4-player co-op. It's just co-op games that force you to play with other people when you don't really want to play with other people to make it more exciting, as you and me have once done for an hour.
Gotham Knights recently.
Gotham Knights, yes. And it seems to be a growing trend at the moment. It just seems
Suicide Squad.
Yes, that's the next one. So big AAA studios. We won't say the little indie developers because they actually make good co-op games because that's the main focus. Like Overcooked 2, or moving out co-op game, isn't it?
Yeah, moving out's awesome and local. So, and there's a second one on the way.
Yeah, all the indie developers nailed the co-op thing. AAA, I think they just don't know how to They don't know the internet very well of people you've got to play with online. That is the major problem. And yes,
And kind of
Redfall.
they want to go on. They want to go single player, but they also want to go online. But they also want to do this. They want to try and do so many different things that they then can't get the multiplayer right at all most of the time.
It's always the problem. Same with like Halo. Hey, no, that's not a co-op thing, but same thing. You get the story right, mess up the multiplayer. Get the multiplayer right. Get the story wrong.
I'm thinking more and more these days that it might be a 343 issue and not so much of a Halo issue because
Well, at the moment, yeah. Well, we're finding that out every week as we go on. It's just someone else from 343 just
leaves
as the standard thing, and it seems to be a AAA issue because most of them are very average, and in the past as well. There's been some that have been good, so like It Takes Two, even though that is kind of indie-ish, but it did win Game of the Year, and it was a co-op game, and you had to be. And then we have the other end of the scale. You could say Anthem, which was disastrous.
Yeah, that was a real bomb.
Avengers, which was just for some people boring.
Single player was good.
Single player.
As soon as you went to go play online with people, that's where it all fell apart.
Animal Crossing, because when you had to go to someone's island, that was just, like I said, single player, good. I have to go to someone's island. I don't care about other people entering your goddamn island. I just want turnips. That's all I want. I want my turnips, sell my turnips, and leave. But I can't do that because people keep coming to sell their turnips too, and it's just annoying. I don't need to know. 2
steps and boom, someone else is.
Hey, someone's here. Like, yes,
I don't care.
Don't care. Just go away. I don't know you. Get lost. And also, like you said, Suicide Squad. That was at PlayStation's State of Play earlier this year. Took up half the time in that State of Play. It did not get received well. Got delayed by a couple of months. Then they thought, you know what? Let's delay it by a year because it was not very well received at all.
See in Feb.
Just everyone saw it. Just went, yep, looks like Gotham Knights in the Sun. They got the light right. They just went from one end to the other. Just still.
Yeah, what's that new date? February.
Oh, who knows?
February 2nd, 2024.
It's alright, there's no competition around that time yet, unless everyone just goes, hey, let's just bully you and just release our big AAA game that's not multiplayer and show you.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe at this point, PlayStation's gone, Horizon 3's on the way. We've already confirmed that. Let's just try and fast track.
Well, they could just do any worse. Like, you know what?
Around then, and finally we'll get a win.
Or they'll just mock them and go, you know what? Let's just release the Horizon remaster at the same day. It will same day, and just say it would probably do better because it was like, oh, I like Horizon. It's good.
I just like that idea that finally Horizon can release alongside something and not release at the same time as some game of the lifetime, sort of game like it did with Breath of the Wild in 2017 and then Elden Ring last year.
No.
I mean, fuck Elden Ring. And fuck Breath of the
Wild. I was going to say Zelda. I was saying Breath of the Wild. Like, come on.
Fuck both of those games, but...
silly games.
But, of course, people lost their shit over them. Those people were wrong. See what happens with Tears of the Kingdom this week. It is the week of our Lord Link.
Lord Link. Oh, Billy Ray Link. I mean, his hair's nice. I really love the hair. The hair's great. That hair is brilliant. Until you play Jedi Survivor and you get a mullet, you're done, Link.
And you can, fly kick people as a Jedi and get a trophy for it.
Yeah. No wonder we don't see Cal, the mullet kicking Jedi.
I can get around it.
Brilliant stuff.
So those kind of co-op multiplayer games, you've obviously rattled off a few that aren't working so well. There are examples of things that do work, and you said it pretty well. The indies, Borderlands, obviously a good example. Diablo's worked really well in the past.
With Borderlands, I'll say Borderlands 3 works because we did do a player 2 players, and everyone was at different levels, and they have that setting where
they balanced
it. Where you and me once played Borderlands for about 30 minutes. I reckon you were 7 levels above me. I died about 15 times because I was so low and getting destroyed by everyone.
Yeah, they've certainly learned a little bit, since Borderlands 1 and 2 even. Their writing wasn't as good as in Borderlands 3, but the co-op experience in Borderlands 3 was the best that we've had. So...
But the thing with Borderlands as well, because it does have a story-based, there is a story to it. And you can play it, as you say, single player, which they got right. Or maybe, say not they've got the single player stuff right. Story is questionable in 3, but it's not as good as 2. We all know that. Move on. I don't want to hear it's like, oh, it's not as good as 2. Just Handsome Jack, blah blah blah. Yeah, well, shut up. Shut your face. I don't care. We can all agree 2 is better, and I'll hear no more about it.
So, what's missing from these games that are shit? What's missing from the Redfalls and the Avengers and the Gotham Knights and those sort of things? Like, what is it? Is it just that the world in the first place is shit, or?
Well, I think for some reason Gotham Knights world's just, we all can agree it's 2015. That's Gotham Knights' problem. It just the whole. I know I don't care about it. The whole 30 frames a second thing, it makes it look worse, even with that not great design, but also the story in that, like we said, opening scene to Gotham Knights, greatest opening scene ever.
It's right up there.
Right up there. And then you play the game and it's just not very exciting. Like, story-wise, it's not very appealing. If you ain't got no story or good story, you kind of got to start noticing everything else about it. And that's the problem with Redfall. I don't even know what the hell the whole story is. It's just, hey, there's vampires in the town. It's like, okay, is that it? What's the goal of the game? It's just,
yeah. With what little I've played, the way they tell the story is horrible. Like, it's all through kind of little notes and stuff that you pick up, which can be good storytelling, except they give you really nothing to begin with. So it's just
let's be honest, if they're notes, no one's got to read them like I do. It's like, oh yeah, piece of paper, cool, move on. I'm not reading anything. I want it like audio book. I want it spoken to me.
Yeah,
like a normal game. But that's the thing with Redfall. It's like, you go there, you come out of your stupid whatever, your fire station, whatever, and it says, oh, there's a crash, go see it. It's like, well, I don't want to. Why? Why do I have to go see this crash? What's the point of it? Where on the other hand, if we just go to
explain that overly well.
Yes, but I know this is a single player, but I'm got 2 choice of games at the moment. I got Redfall or Jedi Survivor, and within 10 minutes of Jedi Survivor, I'm already excited, just like my inner Star Wars child, because I'm going, this is the coolest game ever, because the story in that 10 minutes is brilliant, because you just want to know more about this and that and everything what's happening. And it's not so much with Redfall. Redfall's, I'm still slightly confused on what's going on. See, oh, there's a vampire, I'll go stab it with my shotgun with a stick or with a stake.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you've nailed the core idea here, which is you need to have an interesting world to explore first. Build out the world, make sure it's exciting to explore and all those sort of things, and then, like, maybe you still go with the plan of multiplayer and all that sort of, like, co-op and whatever sort of plans you might have, but make sure the world is interesting first, and then
more interesting as if you play single player, because if you can play multiplayer, you can just do your own stupid stuff with your friends or whatever. You can just be an idiot with whatever, because you're not paying attention to, like, the world itself. But
I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be more tempted to go and check out a Redfall Back for Blood style game if there's kind of something tempting me to do so. But if it's just, go and kill all these vampires, don't worry about the story too much. Who knows how they got here? Whatever, like, hit them with solar UV light and all those sort of things. Great, and they'll blow up. And you make a bit of a story out of the stupid shit that you do, but. Or something like Back for Blood, which is, okay, we're just going wave after wave. There's some wafer thin bullshit zombie story here that I'm going to make my way through. Well, that's not nearly as exciting as, say, like, I'll keep going back to Borderlands, but like a Borderlands style thing where they have a story that is there for single player, it is there for multiplayer, and when you jump into multiplayer, it just adds more craziness to the gameplay stuff, but doesn't change the core building blocks that is your plot that you want to go on, and the mechanics and all those sort of things. If anything, you kind of embrace the fact that when you're playing multiplayer, it kind of breaks the experience a little bit. It's stupid. We know that you're not as serious straight away because you're probably there fucking around with your mates, screaming and shouting and whatever the case, stealing each other's loot, whatever the case happens to be. So
Um,
like our story and stuff doesn't change, but if you don't care, you don't care. Whatever. Go off and do it. Go off and have fun. Or you can go down the ultra serious path, or like the still really serious path, like a Destiny or a Division 2, and like people have built, like the communities built up around those things are huge. You go in, there's still these cool stories. If there's certain things that kind of, the cream kind of rises to the top, I'd say there's very few. I haven't got as much experience with the Destiny 2 stuff post the initial kind of campaign that came out. But Division 2 I stuck with for a little while afterwards. And so the core plot, awesome. You could play it solo, you could play it multiplayer. If you played it multiplayer, it still wasn't going to change. It's just, and the environment's still exactly the same, but maybe the damage output scales up from the enemies. So you need to, play a bit more strategically and that sort of thing. Or they don't change it and you just get to mow shit down and make it fun and done.
Yeah, just absolutely bulldoze through all the enemies. You're like, oh, this is easy. You're like, what's wrong with these people who just struggle at it? You think, oh wait, they're not a high level as you.
But then the post game stuff rolls along, and that's where, like, if you really want to have that harder co-op experience, then you can still do it. So there's absolutely nothing that stops you from playing it the way you want to do it. So I think Ubisoft have done a great job with Division 2. I think Destiny's been nailed by Bungie, and then there's others that just can't seem to get near it because the core building blocks just aren't good enough.
Yeah,
the mechanics, the story,
mechanics are just not there. Where you could also put Monster Hunter World in there as well, because you can.
Monster Hunter World, holy shit! Yeah, and
like, well, maybe they'll say Rise, because Monster Hunter World you can do the majority of it by yourself, but there's a few tough ones at the end there. So same with, like, what were you saying? Wild Hearts?
Yeah, Wild Hearts recently that spiked pretty hard towards the end, but I think there was a little bit of imbalance stuff there, and I think that was, we're having our first crack at it and they didn't quite get the balancing right on one particular monster near the end. Like, okay, whatever, no worries, you're learning your way, it's your first crack at it, and the rest of the experience was awesome.
See, there you go. That's what you want.
People are going to be more forgiving of one minor, like, imbalance sort of thing if the rest of your core experience plays well, feels good to play, is engaging, all that sort of stuff. So, but when it's all, like, straight out the gate, especially in the case of Redfall, it's just like, what am I doing here? Why am I walking so far and not really seeing anything to, like, there's meant to be vampires. Where are the vampires?
Yeah. And it's daylight. That's the wrong day for vampires. And why is this water up in the air? I still don't know why that water's up in the air. I'm still confused by it.
There's lots of things. Yeah.
And why are these other people? Why are these other people here for? What do they do? I don't know. It's just like a rubbish Dishonored. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I wasn't a big fan of Dishonored either. But then you look at them and they made Deathloop, and you scratch your head and go, where did it all go wrong? Co-op, that's where it all went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, again, like, I don't feel like co-op is the problem. It's those who maybe aren't wired to do co-op trying to just force it in there and not delivering it. So, anyway.
I think the other thing is, too, is that the developers, you got to learn to play with random people and not people in the studio to understand the pain of trying to play with other people you don't know in a game. Because 85% of the people who play are probably just dicks. You get 5% of good people and then 10%. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes the whole thing, without kind of pivoting back to 100% to kind of what we started with at the beginning of the episode there, of kind of PlayStation and Xbox and those sort of things. But it makes the whole PlayStation situation really fascinating, that they're, like, investing super heavily in live service games. Now, that could be, I mean, that's a very open-ended thing, because live service could be leaderboards in a game, like Astro's Playroom, for example. It could be Fortnite-style games. It could be Destiny-style stuff.
I thought, were they just going to have, like, a tally of number of arrows shot in Horizon or something? I thought that was just going to be the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, I don't think it might go that far.
But I would so get around that if that was the case. Because
you got the plat for Forbidden West recently. You're gonna have to, like, you're platinuming Horizons. You're gonna have to get. I'll have to lend you my VR so that you can go and play Call of the Mountain and get the plat.
Oh man, I forgot about that one. I don't have VR, but maybe I'll just
You've got Burning Shores to deal with in the meantime, and you can borrow mine.
Oh, there you go. See, when the third one comes, they're not gonna have to platinum that. There's no
You're gonna have
pressure
to
at all
platinum the
whatsoever.
remaster now. Like you've
No,
the
no, I'm
multiplayer
not playing
games,
the
and there it is.
remaster.
Actually, the multiplayer games, like the that's stuff that and they confirmed that actually. I mean, the footage leaked, and as I think I've mentioned in a past episode, I've got it stored on my computer, and like I take a look at it every now and then just to try and envisage what that can and should and maybe needs to be. But like they're investing in multiplayer. I want to hope that there is another. For as much as we're inevitably going to get Ghost of Tsushima 2, I'm hoping that we get Legends 2 and that they kind of take on the feedback that they got from the original one, which was largely kind of positive, universally almost positive. But there'll be some little bits and pieces along the way. And initially it was kind of a side idea, but I'd imagine it might be a full-blown sort of thing now. Like we've got a team of 50 people that are going to go off and work on Legends and Legends only, and let's build this thing out. Let's get seasons of content. And I mean, seasons of content, that's where Halo fell through, for example, where people were pretty happy with the multiplayer thing, but I mean there was some imbalance when it came to XP and those sort of things, but then it took so long to get seasons of content out, and so people got bored and moved on. So there's so many different aspects to these live service style games, whether they're competitive, cooperative, whatever. But just take some time and look around, and as you said, kind of ask, speak to players, see what they're, speak to developers who work on these other games. What is working, what isn't? Because it's a very open industry. They all talk, no matter what the big publishers and legal teams think. So just
but also the one thing Sony's got as well is this team called Bungie.
Bungie helps PlayStation big time.
Bungie helps big time.
But even they've been strategic. Like I've gone blank on the names. There's Firewalk, there's Haven, and there was Deviation Games. Those were the three kind of independent sort of ones. Now I think Deviation's the one that they haven't necessarily bought, or at least publicly haven't bought yet. But that's like made up of ex-Call of Duty guys. Like, okay, you guys know firstly your way around a first-person shooter, but you also know your way around multiplayer and how those sort of monetization systems work. They brought someone in who was the chief monetization officer or whatever it was at Epic for Fortnite. Like, okay, so if you're going to monetize your game, you go and get the best talent. Be like, okay, what is the sweet spot here where we can create Dragon Ball Z characters and we can put this character and this character and this character, and people aren't going to lose their shit at the prices or the frequency that we introduce them or whatever. And so you get these experts on board, and PlayStation seems to be doing that. But then you look at Xbox, and sorry to turn it into Xbox v PlayStation, but they go and make Halo, and they took too long with the seasons. They put out Redfall, and well, it's just shit. Sea of Thieves took years and years to finally get the traction that it needed. And look, I'm hopeful that Redfall does kind of become like a Sea of Thieves style story where it really gets some legs and sticks around. But they haven't. It doesn't seem like, anyway. Maybe it's just not publicly facing, but it doesn't seem like they've gone and gotten the people that they need to get the experts in to make these games into what they need to be. Now, of course, there is only one Destiny, but one Bungie. But there's plenty of other people who've had success. Go speak to Ubisoft about the Division. Go go grab people who've worked there. Go find people who work at Epic. You've got Gearbox, yeah. Like there's these teams that can do it. So
Capcom,
go and grab the talent.
Capcom as well.
Yeah. So I don't know. On that side, like it's weird on that side. And I mean, certainly those two big console manufacturers are clearly trying to get into a bit of a war down that space. Xbox has kind of gotten in first, but it looks like PlayStation's ready to go hard with Last of Us, and God knows what else comes after that. So well, there's 12 of them, I think it is, if I remember. 10 to 12 live service games.
Yeah, no, yeah. Remember when they first purchased, they go, "Oh, we got 10 to 12." Like already, it's like, geez. Yeah, well,
there's talk about, and I guess it's appropriate considering there's a TV show coming up. But there's talk of a Twisted Metal game that's in development. Now that'll be competitive multiplayer. So like again, these things can take different forms, but you've got to go and find the right people to make these things. Any other ideas you want to bring to the table about this? Because I kind of hijacked it, but it was your topic. So
no, I think that's really enough, because I don't think I've got anything else to add to it. It's just, I don't know if you just like you said, find the right people to get it done, or just
Or don't try.
don't do it, because it really does fall flat if you can't get it right, as we've seen with Redfall, even with the Avengers, because that service shut down this year. So I can't remember what it was, but they pretty much
it's still
it's
going.
almost
They're just not adding new things. And I think
added new things.
from a certain date, actually, I think you get everything. Like I think they're just going to give everything away.
Even Spider-Man, finally.
Except Spider-Man, that's still just for PlayStation people.
Oh right.
Sucked in Xbox.
You get everything but Spider-Man.
Except Spider-Man.
Psych.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the situation. Please make sure to let us know in the comments on YouTube or via social media what you're thinking when it comes to the kind of state of the live service games. And I think we both come at it from a perspective of people who tend to be more focused on single player stuff. So that, you know, that is a lens to look at things through. And maybe you watching or listening have a totally different lens. Maybe you're all about the multiplayer stuff, and so have some different ideas and perspectives. So make sure to share them. We'd love to hear what you got to say. But don't be an asshole, of course.
I'll slap you.
Yeah, we'll virtual slap you. Bang. We'll crush you like that little spider from before. Anyway, we'll wrap up this episode of Patched. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes more Patched, Player 2 Players, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. There's some awesome stuff there, so please subscribe and go and check it out. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast series, Patch, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au. Kicking a few bucks, lower tiers, early access, higher tiers, multi-episode exclusives. And finally, there's Twitter. Matto.
Matto_Phil. And I will say, I give full credit to Twitter with this broken algorithm, because I no longer see spoilers for anything.
Oh, I wasn't getting spoiled for shit beforehand, which is good. Like
No, but like stuff like The Mandalorian, I'm pretty sure finished about a month ago, and I've not got a single spoiler about that.
Oh, yeah,
Jedi Survivor, seen nothing of that except a mullet. I didn't really care. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. And even other movies, all that, nothing. I get no spoilers. I think this is the greatest thing ever. That's what happens when you let go of 1,000+ employees of Twitter, and there's
to be fair, I guess there was one thing, and the horizon for Burning Shores kind of main plot spoiler bubbled up, but that's because I think it became a controversial
nothing
thing
about
with
that.
Metacritic. So
nothing about that.
Nothing popped up for you, but I think you know about it, 'cause I think we spoke about it, didn't we?
No, I just guessed.
Oh yeah.
That's the only reason that dickhead PlayStation fanboys would review bomb a game, because there's the same
lesbians.
Oh, it's disgusting. Ew.
Like, mate,
that girl's kissing another girl. Dad.
Fucking little dork. You're not getting anything, male, female, or otherwise, so just shut your mouth. So,
idiots.
Anyway, Paul James Games for myself. The website is player2au. And until next week, leave us alone. We're not talking about Zelda. Bye.
Never. It is a banned word.